Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Muscle Room Podcast. As always, Austin Glickman with Eric Potts. And what did you want me to call you earlier?
Officer Graybeard.
Officer Graybeard.
I'm not going with the other one.
Officer Graybeard. We're here at the Flight 93 National Memorial. A unbelievable experience thus far. We have a few more episodes that we're going to be shooting here over the next few hours, as well as a TikTok live later today. It has been an unbelievable, incredible experience.
It's actually draining because it's been so much emotion through the whole thing. It's kind of drained me a bit. Just being here, being on the site and experiencing and hearing the testimonials from people who lived through it and stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, it truly is. This is part of our ongoing 9/11 series, as we do every single year with the Muscle Room Podcast. And to be here, to be able to be on the site of such a sacred ground where 40 American heroes truly did what they could to stop and thwart the terrorists from winning, and that they did. So again, this is just an unbelievable experience, and I'll be probably saying that so many times. I'll be using that phrase over and over again. But with that being said, we are joined here today by another individual who responded that day, who just risked everything to do what he could to, I don't want to use the word clean up because that's not the right word, but to
secure the scene, secure the evidence. Yes. And he was in charge of the state police, Pennsylvania State Police, who were here on the site that day.
So we're joined here today with Retired Major Frank Monaco of the Pennsylvania State Police, who recently just retired again as the chief of, what was the agency?
Plumboro.
Of Plumboro. So how many years total?
39 altogether.
39 years. Wow. I just hit 11 last week. So I got a few more years to go. You got a few on me. And I have at least 9 more to go. In NYPD, we do 20 and out. That's what they say, 20 and out. So we'll see if I hopefully have the ability to get there. And Eric, how many years did you do?
31 years. I'm retired.
31 years. Wow. So I'm the baby in the group for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But nonetheless, so Frank, let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about your career as a whole, and then we'll get into what happened on September 11th. But give us a little backstory about yourself.
Well, I was the slowest rising star in the state police. It took me 11 years to get promoted the first time. Finally got lucky. There was a bunch of retirements, and I finally made the first rank, which is corporal in Pennsylvania. And I went through the ranks at that point. I went from patrol. I got involved with criminal investigation, and I was in liquor enforcement when the state police took that over. I had the western half of the state. And then eventually got promoted to captain on the organized crime unit, because when I was in the liquor enforcement unit, I went after the mafia-owned bars and clubs in the Pittsburgh area. Eventually made it to head of the state, they call drug law enforcement. I was a major there of all narcotics in the state, and then I was an area commander of southwestern Pennsylvania my last 3 years before I retired.
And did you know you always wanted to be a police officer?
No, it would never enter my mind. I was in retail. And I didn't like it. And my dad always wanted to be a state policeman, but you had to be single back when he wanted to get in.
Really?
He was married, yeah. So he talked me into it, and I applied, and I got beat about the head and shoulders every day at the academy because I wasn't military. And I said, I don't think this is for me. They were getting me up when I was used to getting home. I said, this is not made for me. And I left 32 years later with tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
I grew to love it.
Wow. And where were you stationed when you first got out of the academy? Where'd you go?
I went on the beltway around Pittsburgh. It's called the Parkway, the highway out by the Pittsburgh airport.
Did you know the area? Were you born in that area?
Yeah, I had lived in the area after I got married. When I was working in retail, I lived in that area, so I knew very familiar with it.
Okay.
Then I went, the busiest, state police has 65 installations. The busiest is Greensburg, and I went there next. And then stayed in that suburban area of Pittsburgh for my 11 years until I got promoted.
Okay.
And you headed up I'm trying to think of the word, cold case. That's the word. Cold case unit. And I was reading that 15 murders you guys solved.
I think it's more than that now. Again, I appreciate that, you bringing that up, but I tell everybody, I said, I'm not Sherlock Holmes, but I know where he is. So we had a murder when I first got on the job. A little girl was sitting at the bus stop. Somebody kidnapped her, took her out in the country, raped her, and strangled her. And we always knew who did it. They had a car speeding from the scene. And somebody got the license plate. The guy had lied and said he had a flat tire that day. He told his boss a completely different story than was true. But there wasn't DNA back then. And we didn't even have enough. So when I came back as captain in '98, this was 23 years later when I made captain, I came to be in charge of that station. I said, put a team together. I want that. I want him. And they went through everything, and they went through her clothing, and they found a stain which ended up being semen on it. And they got the DNA, got a search warrant for his DNA, and it was him.
Awesome.
We got the conviction. So I thought that's why I was placed on Earth, was to get him.
And you got him
for years to get him.
Good for you.
So yeah, and then they had, luck would have it, they made a bunch of other ones. I said I would give them in the non-summer months, vacation times from September till May. I said I put one from each station. I put them on, go through all these cases, and what can we do? And I think it's 14 they may have gotten. I haven't kept track since that time, but they did a brilliant job. And I said I had this much to do with it. All I did was point them and say, do this. And I had the idea, and they ran it down. So credit all goes to them.
Incredible.
Yeah, certainly incredible. Just move the mic a little bit closer to you.
A little bit more.
A little bit more?
Yeah, just on. Yep.
Better?
Good.
Okay. We'll edit all that out. Don't worry about it. All right. So were you working cold cases prior to 9/11? Or did this occurred way afterwards?
Yeah, this was started in 98.
Okay.
98 when I was a captain there, and then 2000 I transferred from there. But they kept going after I had left.
All right.
On September 10th of that year, the day before, where were you? What were you doing? I mean,
September 10th, I was teaching a class at the State Police Academy in Hershey on financial crimes. And I went out to get a coffee and a break. And somebody said, you hear about the World Trade Center? I said, no. So I went into a room that had a TV. And either the second plane hadn't hit yet or it just had, I'm not sure. But then I saw the towers collapse, and I remember being in complete shock.
Right.
So then the commissioner sent out messages about protecting any federal properties in our area. And all I have is a Johnstown courthouse. So I sent an email to my guy that was filling in for me while I was teaching the class. He got back to me and said, Frank, we just had a 747 go down. Everybody activated, got to go. I don't know what he was talking about because they hadn't said anything about this on TV. And about 5 minutes later, they said they heard about one going down in near Johnstown. So that's what it was. So I said goodbye to my class, and I headed out here. So the pictures of me from that day, I'm in a suit and tie. I'd been in the academy that day. And I didn't even stop to get my uniforms. I came right here.
So tell us about that day. Let's try to paint the picture for the listeners. So you're leaving essentially Hershey, Pennsylvania. You said it's about an hour and a half or so from there to here. What's going through your mind over that hour and a half car ride?
Well, I just couldn't even fathom, knowing what happened at the Trade Center and at the Pentagon. I just couldn't even fathom what's coming next. And everybody was that way. When I got here, and we were just getting there, seeing what was going on, a plane, at this point, everything had been grounded everywhere. Everybody heard a noise and looked up, and there was a plane. It looked like a jumbo jet, but who knows? I'm not an aviation expert, but it was right overhead. And nobody moved. I looked around, and there was hundreds of people. Everybody was frozen. If you're drinking coffee, it was pouring down the front. Nobody moved because nobody knew. And supposedly at that point, there were like 15 planes unaccounted for.
Yeah.
And everybody was frozen in their tracks. We couldn't figure out, what is this now? And then I looked over, and somebody mouthed to me, it was United Airlines. It was their response crew. They were just flying over the site to see what it was. But nobody told us. So just everybody was thinking the exact same thing. What now? What?
Yeah.
What's coming next?
Yeah.
It was just the uncertainty of it all was pretty much overwhelming.
Now, when you're on your way here, because you mentioned to us earlier that people couldn't get to New York, so they came here. How was the traffic getting here? And then when you got to the scene, what was it like? I mean, were the people all over the place already?
There were people all over, and they said, this is dirt roads coming up here. This is a recovered strip mine.
Yeah.
And there was one building, like a shed, had no heat in it, and that was the only thing that was up here. And I said dirt road. So there were some houses just down over the hill, hunting cabins, what have you. But people were coming. Initially, people came and were picking up parts of the plane. I don't know if they're saving it for a souvenir for the mantelpiece or what it was, but NTSB collects all that stuff. So there was too many people there, and I told. Then I had a problem. The local NBC affiliate had a helicopter up and got an overhead picture of the hole in the ground, and then everything was grounded. So they didn't have that same soundbite and picture, so they told their local reporters to come through our lines and get through there. So I had told them to arrest everybody. I can't be doing this. I'm too busy here.
Yeah.
And I'm still friends with some people. I didn't even know who they were. I just said arrest them. but we had to get control of what was going on there. But had people taking pictures of the hole and again picking up parts of the plane, and what they were going to do with them, I have no idea.
How many troopers did you have on the ground with you at that time?
Right off the bat, probably about 40 or 50. Then we brought up, people came from Bedford, which Bedford's not that far away. Guys from Hollidaysburg's right down the road. But so people in Washington, Pennsylvania are a long way from here. Like for me, even in Greensburg, it's more than an hour. So that was the closest place. Initially, we probably had about 100 people coming up. They were taking everybody off the road. That was a problem. There was hardly anybody left to take calls.
And you were the rank of captain at the time?
At the time, yes.
So you were the highest ranking. You get on scene, you pull up. Are you met by a lieutenant? Are they giving you a briefing of what happened, or what's that like?
Well, the captain from Hollidaysburg, Joe Holmberg, was there, and he met me, and he was the first one up here and told me what was going on. And he had gone ahead and set up the perimeter, because the thing is, the state police is so firm about training and manuals and procedures. And when something happens like this and your mind goes blank, they just went to what they already know. So they set up a perimeter, because there was going to be obviously possibly a biohazard with all the the remains that were in the hole, and again, so many people that were here got cancer. I don't know what it had to do with the jet fuel or what the story was. So the first thing was to do was protect the scene. That's all. First thing that came to everybody's mind, that we'll do this and then get control of things. So we set up 2 perimeters, one on the inside, one on the outside. And that was just the first thing, just getting that perimeter set. And Joe, those guys, the first couple of guys, did a great job of clearing the scene, kicking everybody out of there. And that was, again, I would like to bring them up, but they did the lion's share of the work. I got there, and they had already controlled things.
Now, when you walked onto the scene and you get there and you're looking at the devastation, I mean, what's going through your mind? Like, this is so daunting. How are we going to even investigate it? Or
it's hard to understand, but it didn't look like anything. There was a big hole in the ground with smoke coming out of it. That's all there was. Most of the plane was in the hole. Like 90% of the plane had gone into the hole. It's recovered strip mine, so it was all soft dirt, and went all the way down to bedrock about 60 feet and then collapsed like an accordion.
Wow.
So there was one engine back in the woods, but most of the other stuff was in the hole itself. Now, we had a plane crash out by Pittsburgh Airport, I'm going to say 93, and I think it was Flight 427, but it landed on a paved road, so there was gore and blood and bodies everywhere.
Yeah.
This was not that. It looked like a trash fire.
Wow.
You had a big hole in the ground with smoke coming out of it and papers all over the place. So it didn't look like anything. And that was the crazy part about it. I said, you couldn't tell somebody, guess what that is? Nobody would have said plane crash. Now, from above, you can see the outline of the plane in the dirt. You can see the wings and the tail. But from ground level, you couldn't see anything except smoke. But everybody came here. So we had news, and we had... One night when we were on post, we had people got drunk and figured they'd drive up and look at the crash site. So my people made a lot of DUI arrests. Stand there on post. Yeah, let's go look at the hole. Why?
Yeah.
But it just, that was a key thing, just getting everybody. First thing was just sizing up who's where, who do we have? We don't have anybody's name. We can't let them go home. So we have to get hotels someplace.
Yeah.
We're going to find out who has court. And again, that's why we had to take roll call for everybody in here. We don't have any clothing. We have no change of clothes. This is in September. Up here in the mountains, it gets cold at night. So my guys had summer uniforms on. And I say guys, male and female, we're both on post. They're in short sleeve shirts, which is fine during the day. At night, it got really chilly. So they had no supplies. We had no toothbrushes. We had nothing.
How many days altogether were you on site?
13.
Wow.
Once they found the black box, then that was it.
And that was located in the hole?
Yes.
Wow.
And I said, I had people saying they want us to stay. I said, for what? There's nothing to guard. I said, I got police calls.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
So, but we had just that initial organization. Again, there was no food here. How am I supposed to keep these people here and not feed them?
Yeah.
So we didn't, so it was the first thing, just getting the logistics. We put somebody in charge of everything. What do we need? Housing, you're in charge. Go find housing. Go find meals. Go find, we had no self-service up here. So that was very difficult communicating, and the radios didn't work so hot either.
I was going to bring that up. So you're here essentially really in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yes.
Just farmland, really, more than anything. You get up here within an hour and a half or so of the crash itself. Between that point to, let's say, the NTSB showing up or other federal assets, how long did that take?
Oh, NTSB took some time. I think they may come up that day. I can't honestly remember because I was so busy that day just getting everything set up with what it was, getting emergency management, who was doing what. The FBI came up that day right off the bat.
Now, are they taking lead on this, or is this a joint operation?
Initially, it was ours, but then because it was a terrorist thing. Once they declared it was terrorist, then the FBI has authority, so they took over at that point. And we pretty much went through mapping the scene and had my crime scene people up there doing the mapping and all that. And then we had to go walking through the woods because that plane went everywhere. So trying to fight that. And and on top of that, we had put up roadblocks because people wanted to be here. We had to stop traffic who was there. There's a place about 30 miles from here on Route 30 called New Baltimore. And they got a blizzard of paper and Kevlar fabric, which holds the plane together apparently. All that mail was on that plane. Went up in the air with the explosion, floated, and then came down. And you see there, if you're around this area, you'll see big windmills, a lot of breeze up here.
Oh, yeah.
They caught in that jet stream, and they landed in New Baltimore, tons of paperwork and Kevlar. So people who watch CSI are bringing these pieces of mail up, want to turn it in as
10
evidence.
miles away, you're saying?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
It's right on Route 30. Maybe not this close to that. You look at it, you'll see what I mean. It's not.
Yeah.
It's about that far away, but it landed way down in New Baltimore. So people are bringing up boxes full of stuff to give to us because they know good citizens. They want to turn evidence, really not evidence of everything. But we had to take time to. We don't want to throw them away. I mean, people are nice enough to come up. We had to log that in and all that. So it was something else we had to worry about. And again, keeping the bystanders up. But I said I arrested those reporters. So what I did is I said, look, I'm going to tell you, I know you got a job. I'll put you all on a school bus. And we'll go up to the top of the hill, and I'll give you the exact same sound bite. You're all going to get the same thing, the same picture, then leave me alone because I can't do this right now. I can't be bothered with this. I'm getting crushed. So I did 2 school bus loads of reporters, came back on 11 o'clock and did the local news. And 11 o'clock CNN called. I said, you know what? I don't have my uniforms. I have to drive to Greensburg and get my clothes. I don't have anything. So I had no sleep. By the time I left here, drove to Greensburg, got my uniforms, came back. It was time to be back here at 5 o'clock. So I got no sleep the first 2 days.
Wow.
So I'm just, again, trying to see where everybody is, get their names and who has business here. We sent somebody around, we got the names of everybody, and we sent from every station, sent cars around to have the significant others pack a suitcase, just with underwear and toothbrushes and stuff like that so they could change clothes while they were up here. Eventually set up with a local cleaner. We would turn them back. They gave us bound bags when we'd turn stuff to this bag. Would clean the uniforms and send them back. It was all dust out here. You can be out here in 5 minutes. Time my car went by, it was a dust storm, so we were filthy all the time.
What, was your command center a tent, or did you have a physical?
No, the state police have a motor home.
Yeah.
That was converted years ago for as a command post. So they brought that up, and which was very helpful. That was our radio communications out of there.
Yeah.
And they were right there by the shed's no longer there, but right where the shed was. I can give you pictures of this stuff too, if you want to put it on.
Yes, he had pointed out to us yesterday where everything was located. He said the building itself is now gone, but essentially you were using it as a makeshift command post for a few days.
Except I said it would be windy and stuff. But I mean, there was no heat in there.
Right.
We'd go eat and meet in the morning and decide what was happening today, what dignitaries were coming, because that was going to cause a problem. But that was just every day. What do we have to expect today? And then people started sending food over. People send clothes over. We had people we didn't lose our clothes. I appreciate your sending clothes over. Everybody wants to be nice, but people in Somerset were just, signs everywhere, and they're sending food over, pots to feed us. I don't know that we ever asked for anything. The Red Cross and the Salvation Army showed up with food. We had food, and then Wendy's started sending food up all the time. We had and pizza. Everybody's sending food. We had more food you could shake a stick at. Everybody's sending. A lot of times, I'm sure you have been the same experience. You go on details or nothing. Yeah. They were sending food up. You had your choice of what you wanted. I'm using memory. Pizza Hut sent food, and pizza got sent back. The guy said, "What happened to the pizza?" I don't know. Somebody I heard it was the Red Cross, but I don't know who it was. Somebody said that they thought we'd be traumatized by the red sauce.
Oh. Interesting. Okay.
My response exactly. I said my men would stand in a pool of blood and eat free pizza.
Yeah.
I said, So
it's cops. That's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. They're not passing free pizza. I actually laughed when they said that to me. I said, no. And they had put up condiment stations. They used green ketchup. It never dawned on me.
This is like a real
I thought it was just what they had.
Yeah.
They're worried about us. Oh, no, ketchup. Yeah, really? Just, these guys.
So this actually brings up a really good point. So you're here for 13 days. Now, the rest of the troopers also 13 days, or were they here for longer? Like the regular, boots on the ground trooper?
No, we start cutting back after a while. We had people looking for evidence every place.
Right.
And once we covered certain areas, I sent them back. And I remember I called them all in, and they were standing at attention. I said, I'm releasing you. And it's like the air went out of a balloon. They wanted to be here. They wanted to be here. They wanted to be involved. I said, I need to put policemen on the road. There's nobody on the road. Everybody's here. I need to send guys I don't need back.
So how did you guys handle the stress management aspect after this major incident, which for the most part probably was the most traumatic incident that I would assume most of the troopers have ever experienced? How did that aspect? Because again, this is 2001. This
different time,
very different times than what we do today. Was that even a thing, or what did you guys do?
Oh yeah, they have a thing called peer contact in the state police, and they had peer contact up here for anybody that needed it. And then everybody was up there, had to go down, and when you were done and be debriefed. They came to me and I said, 30 years later, now you're going to debrief me? Yeah. I mean, you didn't care before. At this point, now you're concerned about my mental state.
Oh, so this was recent.
I mean, well, in 2001, I said I had a couple guys, 2 guys get killed in 3 years on patrol. Not long after that, And I said they wanted to debrief me. I said, "What are you going to tell me?" I got 32 years here, and I said, "There's nothing you're going to tell me at this point. And I've been through this, and nobody cared before."
Right.
So yeah,
that's the problem that we talk about all the time when we do these shows and stuff. That the bygone time when you and I were on years ago, suck it up. Get out there and do it. Suck it up. Deal with it. You can handle it, and then and that's it. That's your critical incident stress management. And now, I think it's more recognized that you do need some counsel. You need to connect with those feelings that you're feeling instead of trying to bury them. And it's good that for the troopers that were out there that you guys did mandate that they get some debriefing.
And a couple guys had a problem, and I heard about it. I never told anybody their name. I heard about it, and I said, "Well, I'm glad they reached out. That's why it's there."
Exactly.
I had another guy I knew that had a child die in his arms, and he called and he told me about it. I said, "I'm proud of you for doing that, for not trying to be a tough guy.
Yeah.
I said, I'm proud of you for getting that help." I said, because it doesn't do you any good.
Right.
If it's affecting you at all, if you're dreaming about it, you need to do something. And he did. And so I was very proud of him. And I think that's, like you said, I think that stigma's been taken away.
Oh, yeah. It is now. I mean, you guys are on the job now, so it's very much so. But back in the day, there was nothing.
And you had mentioned that a lot of people that were here, the first responders that were here, have cancer or had cancer that passed away. Is that 100% linked to the 9/11 related illnesses and cancer?
I think so. Yeah, well, it's part of the 9/11 health program.
Okay.
Yeah. A couple throat cancers, leukemia. I'm trying to think. There was a guy that was a minister here that he had his little memorial chapel he put up. He died. I think a fire chief from up here died from it. A whole bunch of people got cancer.
Yeah.
They were up here that day.
And that's all just from the sifting through just jet fuel and other toxins that were.
Yeah. That's what I was told.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Right.
They told
Now,
me
do we know? Are there names anywhere here at the memorial?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. I know they just recently. This is very recent. Even in New York City, where it's now thousands of first responders have now overtaken those that actually died the day of. Now there's more that have died from cancer-related illnesses from 9/11 than post or pre 9/11, I should say. So now they just recently started adding the names for those who have died from 9/11 related cancers, and they actually added a whole new section in the museum related specifically to the air quality and everything that occurred those days. So even 24 years, about to be 24 years later, they're just now starting to recognize everyone. So I don't know, maybe that's something.
That would be a step towards healing for you, because I
think that would be. The people that died, I only know. I mean, as far as I know, people have had stomach cancers too. I don't know anybody that's died from it. I know people have had it, but they've had like throat cancer. They've survived. I'm just trying to think of anybody I knew that actually died from it, but I can't say. But a lot of people have had cancers. The skin cancers a lot, but particularly anything like with the stomach and I said the throat. You're breathing in vocal cords and things like that. But anybody died there. And like I said, I'm not looking for glory like a big sign over there. But they should
take care of your men. Your troops.
They put in a lot. They put up a lot with here.
No, that's totally understandable. But that's what you look for in leadership is concern about them and getting the recognition for them, not yourself, but for them, and that's commendable.
Well, thank you. And again, I'm proud of the organization. I was so proud of them, the job they did, because they were trained and they knew what to do. I didn't have to chew anybody out. They knew what was going on. It was a joy. I was proud of all of them, and I said that's like with the cold case team. I'm proud of them. I didn't do it, but I'm proud that they got the opportunity. I gave them the opportunity. They made me look like a star, which I'm not. But just by solving those cases, and some of them are years old.
Yeah.
After those first 13 days, did the state police have any assistance with the investigation, or was it totally just controlled by the feds?
They're pretty much by the FBI and the NTSB.
How were they working with you at the scene at that time, though?
I mean, they were fine. There was, like I said, my guys were down there. They had a backhoe were going through the hole, and they were sifting through it looking for, body parts. We had some people were complaining, some well-known pathologists were complaining about the way we were doing stuff. I said, really, you're going to complain about this now? I got a little bit on my mind. Yeah. We're not looking for cause of death. We already know. Again, we kind of figured out what happened here. And all the people that did it are dead. So I don't think, this cause of death thing matters. I mean, unless there's some outsider here. But we had there was some criticism, but we weren't doing it right, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, they were working the hole and, sifting through the stuff, and they directed my people to handle it. So we didn't have that much. I talked to the FBI every day who were up here, but beyond that, not really. I mean, we hadn't any problem as far as I know.
Yeah.
When you tell me who's in charge, they're going to help you and then do what they say. There shouldn't be an issue.
Right.
We weren't taking it from there.
Yeah. We do this with the NYPD. All the graduating classes go to the 9/11 memorial before they actually graduate. Does the state police by chance bring the recruits here before they graduate?
Not as far as I know. Well, it's a bit of a drive. I had offered, but they've had changes of administration. I have a presentation. I went around the various police places and did my presentation about, in case you get this in a rural area, this is what went on and what we did to facilitate things, so you're not shocked. It's nice to know, we had to figure out it on the fly.
Yeah.
And I offered to do it for them, but it's funny when I mention it to people nowadays, they don't really understand. When I say Flight 93, they've forgotten so fast.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. We've been saying that. We've been saying that a few times today already, that we do this 9/11 series every year. And we learned that the fascination with 9/11, not just here in the U.S., but obviously an East Coast event for primarily, but Great Britain and the Netherlands, for some reason, seem to have this fascination with 9/11. And when I go on social media and I talk about 9/11, and I obviously bring up Flight 93, we hear it a lot from adults and children that they don't know what Flight 93 was. And it was a shocker to me. I always knew what it was. I was surprised. And that's why we said, well, we need to get out here. We need to come to the Flight 93 National Memorial, and we need to help tell this story. I think the Park Service does a great job doing it, but using the harness of social media, obviously you could reach the masses, and that's what we're doing. And that's why we created, a podcast like this to help tell these types of stories. And we're going to, push this out to all of our viewers and listeners across the, not just the country, but the world. And help tell the story of again, the heroism that occurred that day. When you guys first get on scene, did you have any inclination that the plane was forced down by the passengers, or obviously you had known that all the other planes had hit their targets? This one didn't. Did you guys know why?
Well, as I recall, Bell Vernon Station, which is just down the road here, the call from 911 went to Bell Vernon. He said about they were going to take the plane back in. They were going to take over I don't think what his name was called. Anyway, it was a famous call. He said that they were taking over the plane. He said, let's roll. That went into my station at Bell Vernon. So they had that, but the FBI took it, so I've never heard the actual tape. We kind of figured that's what happened. And the witnesses that were there, now they came over Johnstown Airport, which isn't far from here, very low. As a matter of fact, they evacuated the towers. They thought they might hit the tower. So I don't know if that was when they were struggling or what it was, but when they flew over the local area here, some guys were working on a roof. The plane was upside down. So, it's not like TV, or in the movies where somebody dies and you're going to take the plane over. No, it doesn't work that way. It was upside down. And if they were trying to, what I know about, if you're trying to get it to go up, you pull back. If you're upside down, you pull back.
Yeah.
And it went straight down at 90 degrees, went straight into the ground. And there was witnesses. So the thing was, it was shot down. No, it wasn't. There were people that saw it.
Right.
Now, what happened was Johnstown set a plane up to size up the crash site to see where it was and get the coordinates or what have you. That's what people saw, and they said that was a military jet. I would have never got to D.C. Yeah. I'm 99% sure they were not going to let it crash in a metropolitan area. That wasn't happening.
Right.
But they never got there. It did, but it was not shot down. It was in one piece when I went in. Again, we had numerous witnesses that saw it.
Yeah, we spoke about this in the previous episode. The conspiracy theories surrounding 9/11, not just obviously in New York City, but here with Shanksville, with the planes quote unquote being shot down by a missile by the government.
And somebody told me they saw a missile. I said, "Yeah, Somerset County commissioners have had Minutemen here waiting all these years for this moment."
Right? Yeah. It's so far fetched. But again, listen, people just they're going to believe what they're going to believe, no matter what, no matter the evidence that we show them. They're always going to their mindset is set. That
There's still people who believe the Earth is flat. For God's sakes,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Oh, it's not. Yeah.
But definitely, I mean, we had witnesses on the roof that saw it.
Right.
It was upside down. That's how I know it was upside down. And when they pulled back, it just made a quick turn and went straight into the ground.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're in a very rural area, so I think I know the answer to this. There's no video footage of the plane actually crashing.
No. And the smoke come up a fact, but there was no, I mean, there was, even back then, I mean, even with the Ring doorbell, there was nobody around here that would have had it unless they had some surveillance up there at the strip mine, but why would they?
And when you're driving up here, you can see the smoke from the...
It was pretty high up.
Yeah, so you could see
I
it?
send you a picture of it. Yeah, it was pretty high. I did not see it. It was that cloud from the explosion was dissipated by the time I got here.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, people took pictures of it. There was a guy, there was a lake down there. A guy was fishing in it, and he was here when it hit, and he got showered with debris.
Oh,
Sitting there,
really?
here's the crash, and all of a sudden the stuff comes down over top of him.
Wow.
And there was a snake down there right by where the plane went in. It was sunning itself on a rock, and it got flash fried like this in the striking position.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, true story.
Wow. That's unbelievable. So after those 13 days was over, what was it like just working here in the area? Like,
well, I mean, I didn't work up here, just getting back to normal calls and all that. Just like this really happened, because now you're back to regular job here. So what happened? Didn't something just went on a while ago? Just you're back to your normal thing. But everybody was still concerned about the terrorist thing. It was such a big deal at that point. But we didn't, as far as that, the FBI was handling all that portion of it. But see, up here, when I talk about the evidence, we had flight manuals in Arabic, stuff like that was found here. The people taped, hands taped, the stuff here was found that was evidentiary, obviously, for it had ever gone to trial.
And where was it found? Was it in the hole? Was it in the woods?
One or the other, probably in the woods, I think. I don't know specifically.
It's amazing that it's even survived the impact and the fire.
Yeah, it really is.
Did you walk the woods yourself?
I did.
And what was that like?
Well, I mean, there's just stuff. There's paper, and again, people were looking up. There was stuff hanging from the trees, but then it rained, and I had to go through it again because stuff got washed down. But it just, again, a lot of debris. And again, as opposed to 427, the one down by the airport, which was blood everywhere and bodies everywhere. This is paper. Is all it was. Is stuff that just got caught up. And there was flight manuals in Arabic. I don't know if I said that already. But
yeah.
So they had all kinds of stuff that they could use, because it was the only place there was anything left. Was here in the home.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would have done different if this were to happen again today? Any takeaway from the incident itself?
Just initially, I probably have told the media in advance, don't even bother to come. I might have called them, but I never crossed my mind. I never thought they would want that, but I should have known better.
Well,
that first day was just so hectic that I can't even begin to describe it. I said, that was the busiest, 39 years of being a cop, that was the busiest day I ever had. It was like my head was going to explode, because it was, somebody's here calling you, and people are showing up. Can this person come in? Can that person come in? All that. We had to work that out. Who's allowed to come in? And that was one of the things we set up. So now, I think we pretty much went pretty well, all things considered. I got no complaints. A bunch of us went down actually into the hole. It was a genius move on my part, when you're not thinking.
Yeah.
I found out later on about all the biohazards. That's nice.
Yeah.
Too bad I never even thought about it. By the time that information came out, it was too late for me.
Now, how deep was the hole?
I want to say about 40 feet.
And you went down 40 feet when?
I mean, it was a slope. It wasn't like a mine shaft. It was a big, like that. You could get down gingerly. But yeah, me and a couple other people did do. Never in my mind, somebody said consider the biohazard. Didn't think of that.
Yeah, I don't think you do think of that when you're in that mode of policing and rescuing. Yeah, obviously there's nothing to rescue there, but
you just want to see it. I mean, what was the point? When your mind's blown.
Yeah,
it seemed like a good idea at the time. I don't know why I did it. You're asking today, it's embarrassing to admit it, but I did it anyway.
I probably would have done it myself.
I think I would have done it too.
Yeah, but that's like the investigators in us, right? That's where police officers were going to the seat of the incident. So and that's where it is.
Yeah. But they took the bits. They took all that plane out and they rebuilt it someplace.
Yeah.
And then we had the morgue that we set up.
Right.
And set up for the morgue. But
and that was brought back here eventually in 2018 and laid to his final resting place. Now, did you have any part in that when they brought the
Shipping containers?
no, I had. I said I would go up for the anniversary. I stayed close when they had meetings about building this. I went to D.C. for them and all that. But I said, being a state police, we're not the same. We weren't, we got pushed aside, so that's fine. But I used to come back every year. For the first 10 years or 11 years, I came every year.
Yeah.
Getting away. But
well, what about for the 25th anniversary next year? I think you're maybe.
I'll probably go for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know they're planning a lot already.
Yeah.
So
24 years on now that it's been 24, going to be 25 next year. How are you coping with it? And
it's funny. I wish I had an answer for you. My kids think there's something wrong with me because I've had a lot of bad things I've dealt with on the job.
yeah,
And I don't have PTSD. I said I haven't the foggiest notion why. I don't know it. Like one of my guys, two of my guys murdered in 3 years alongside the road. I had to look at that. I don't know. I don't. And people on the anniversary, people call me and say, "I'm thinking of you today." I said, "I'm okay with it." The hard part for me, the hardest part there of anything, there was a Japanese young man on the plane, and his mother came, and through a translator, she wanted to know, could he have survived? No. Can I have his body back? Could he have parachuted? No. Can I have his body back? And am I supposed to tell her I might have a finger for you? Some scalp. That's all there is. And so that was tough. So I had told my people, they brought the crew, they bring the family up in buses. And I told my guys, you can't talk to them, but when they go by, salute them. So we have some incredible photos of the family's reactions to the salute. That was my major contribution, that idea. And then when that Japanese woman came through, she bowed to all of us, which killed us.
Wow.
Yeah. That wiped us out.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. She was just crying and crying. It was terrible. That was the hardest thing. I think about that. I still get emotional. Why for that? I don't know. But her reaction killed all of us. But that's one thing I think back to of all of that was her reaction coming up there. But it's a job. You have to try to look the other way or deal with it as best you can.
yeah.
But I was proud of the organization. Again, I like to say it was all my credit, but it's not. They were all trained on what to do, and they knew what to do, and I appreciated that. Made it easier for everybody. And there's a lot of they needed evidence out. If I said they were afraid of it, rank is all mud. It was all dirt. So some paving crew came in an afternoon and paved the whole way around. Wow. I said, "Oh, that's what I said." I said, maybe some evidence on my driveway. We got to pave that. I can't even imagine what that cost to pave that. They paved so much up here so we get in and out. But yeah, it was
amazing.
I think people they had people here on post for the longest time after the fact, and I said, "It's up to you." So I can't do it. I haven't got enough people for this. We way over the budget for this. I had so many people up here, but we had a lot of people went out and said thanks to the Red Cross and the Salvation Army because they fed us. So they were there for us, and I never forget that.
You mentioned they came out here and they paved the roads and everything. There was no more patriotism than I've ever seen in my life. September 12th, the next day, flags everywhere, people going out of their way to help other people. It's amazing.
The whole thing was amazing, and everybody with the NYPD shirts walking around, and hats. Everybody wanted. I wanted to get one too, but everybody was there. There was people with flags along the airport here. There was cyclone fences, and they had flags supporting us all the way around here. Again, people were sending stuff to us. I appreciate that, but everybody wanted to be here.
Yeah,
I had a guy. They called me. Said the Secretary of Transportation is here. I went down. That was when Norman Etta was. I said, that's not him. He was an assistant to the undersecretary. He wants in. I said, get out. What are you going to give me policy? Get out of here. I'm kind of jammed up here. I don't need any extra dignitaries walking in the thing. Then we had President came, Mrs. Bush, Mrs. Cheney came. They had various senators came.
What was that like when the president came? How many days after the actual crash did he come to the site?
I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure he came up there or not. I think his wife came. I'm not sure he came. I think he came a year later. He came up, but I don't recall. I'm not sure he was there that day. But that was all with all what was going on. Right. I'm not sure he came up there. I don't believe he did, but I could be wrong. But I remember his wife was there, and trying to set that up for the press corps and all that when it closed the area. It was a 3-ring circus.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. But I wanted to write notes to people. I mean, you have to write an editorial or something like that, or something. They only have to do it right away. So I was kind of tied up. I want to thank all the people up here.
Right.
For what they did for us. It was unbelievable.
Have you ever thrown, like, I don't want to use the word party, but have you ever, like, a thank you to all the guys and gals that were here that assisted with the response and recovery?
I mean, this many years, it would have been better at the time. Like I said, it was a lot of
Hindsight's
people.
2020.
Well, yeah, of course. No, yeah, I wasn't sure.
Like to have,
That's
like I said, they got commendations that were here,
Yeah.
as I recall. But that was the best I could do. There's a lot of people, on the same shift that go someplace or do something.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe for the 25th anniversary, maybe you could set up a little get together with those that were here that day.
Yeah, I've been trying to get, if people don't believe me, the World Trade Center Health Program.
Yeah.
All the guys that have gotten cancer, I've sent people, they think it's a scam. And I said, you really think I'm making money on? I don't care what you do. I get nothing out of this. I'm trying to help you,
Yeah.
Yeah, if they still are to this day having issues, you can let us know. We have great connections with Barrister McGarry, which is one of the leading law firms that deals with the health registry. So we're more than happy to get them hooked up and set up. And
I have one guy will not listen to me.
All right,
I've had people who know him. I said, you think this is what I do for a living? And I sell also car warranties at the same time. Are you nuts? I'm trying to help you out. You're one of my guys.
Yeah.
And you got bad cancer. I'm trying to help you. I said, don't. It doesn't hurt me. I don't get anything out of this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you out, but you
yeah,
only do what you can do.
that's true.
But yeah, it was. I remember we brought my grandkids up here one time. I wasn't quite finished yet at the time, but I said I wanted them to say, but I meant to do the presentation for them. I haven't done it yet. But it's it's pretty primitive PowerPoint from done back then.
Yeah.
But I used to go around to different states and show them, just give them a heads up of what we had to deal with about the food and all that and the logistics. Just find a place for everybody to sleep. It's hard to get rid of somebody. If there was supposed to have been a conference here for something, I said, that'd have been conference here. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Those rooms you can't kick people out of rooms if you don't want to,
Yeah.
They can stay as long as they want. So it's like an eviction. So we were able to get hotel rooms for everybody and bringing food out to the site.
Do you still go speak to the town, the smaller towns?
They don't. Nobody cares anymore. It's old news.
It's a shame because we were talking about SOPs for these towns that don't have the critical incident stress management in position, or even this where you have a major incident. They're not going to know how to run it.
No.
Obviously, the state police will come in for whatever state they're in, but the local police aren't going to know how to run anything until they get the big wigs on the scene. So
we were supposed to go to the RCMP when one of my guys got killed, so we didn't go. But we did Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky. I did it at the FBI Academy. When else did we go?
it's sad to hear you say that they don't care anymore.
It's like nothing. I mentioned to somebody, I teach classes online. I introduced myself before, and I mentioned I did the first press conference up here. People know, it used to be like, wow, nobody thinks anything of it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's old news. It's just the way things are, the way the news cycle goes.
Yeah.
People forgot about it. I didn't, but it surprised me. I was talking to my neighbor, and she was telling me, I said that to her, I said, people don't remember. She said, I was in kindergarten at the time. I said, I know. But I said, there's other things have happened, and that's, there are newer things.
We had mentioned it in an earlier episode that most of the cops that are getting on the job nowadays weren't even born when 9/11 occurred. So, yeah, but I mean, but that's why we do this, right? That's why we do these podcasts, and that's why
that's
the
most
slogan, never
thing.
forget, I cherish that. And maybe it's because, we all grew up, in the New York City metropolitan area, and we were affected probably a little bit more than others. But
I worked 2 weeks ground zero at the towers, and I didn't want to come off, but I had to go back to my regular job and stuff. But so I get that feeling. But yeah, the guys how old were you? 9?
I was 11.
11.
I was 11.
All
Yeah,
right, there you go.
But we saw it. So when the towers got hit, where my middle school was positioned in Long Beach, New York, it overlooked essentially the skyline of New York City across the bay. On a clear day, like it was, you could see the skyline of New York City very easily. So we knew something was going on. We could see all the smoke. We saw, we heard the commotion, and then one by one, people's names were getting called over the loudspeaker. And then our gym teacher had come and told us that planes had hit the World Trade Center. So we were aware of what was going on. But being an 11-year-old kid, we didn't really grasp exactly what had occurred until we got home and we then saw, the TVs that not only did the towers get hit, but the Pentagon, and then a plane came down here in Shanksville. So, Yeah, I mean, but I think that definitely shaped why I became a first responder is because of 9/11 for sure. Yeah. And I'm proud to wear the NYPD patch now because of it.
I'm sure. It was nice to be involved. I mean, you felt, and again, like the way those guys, I could see them slumped when they were told them I had to go back because they wanted to be. They just felt they were doing something. They wanted to do something to fight back or do something to contribute, and then I told them they had to go back. I said, don't take it personally, but there were still police calls. Although things went down, things slowed down pretty dramatically there. Yeah, at that point.
Well, but, Frank, any last thing you wanna say? Any last words of advice or wisdom or
about wisdom? I just thanks for giving me the opportunity, and I'm just thankful to be a part of the organization and have a chance to contribute a little bit.
Well, thanks for
being
being
everybody in New York City. I have a lot of friends at NYPD. That
I think you're a very modest man that don't take a lot of credit for the stuff that you did.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
You're too kind. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for coming and being on the show, and again helping those of the younger generation to again never forget and to realize that the tragedy that happened here. I'm
glad to see the amount of cars. Every time I come here, it's never empty. I mean, it's not on a weekend. You come during the week, there's people here. Yeah. So people, and this is not an easy place to access.
Right.
As I've been to the towers, I've been to the Pentagon after that fact, but this is so far out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, I was here 2 years ago. It was packed, and then yesterday it was packed, and it was like, it's great that people are still coming here.
Yeah.
But we truly need to educate the public on Flight 93 and 9/11 in general because it is being forgotten.
Yeah. Do you know on the inside, right after it happened, somebody put a piece of cyclone fence up, and there were flowers and quotes and stuff hung on that for the longest time. And I don't know what happened to it. I hope they.
I don't know. I think we did see a picture of it in that slideshow.
Maybe a question for Steve. Maybe.
Yeah.
When we speak with him later, we'll ask if they collected any of that material. Sure. I know a lot kind of probably got discarded because again, you're not thinking about know historical aspects of
especially the flowers and stuff. I mean, but
the signs and stuff. I'm not sure. That's a great question, and then I'll see if I can get the answer for you.
I have a picture of that. I said I came back the first anniversary, then when Bush came back up, and then there was a problem there.
I do know this. We learned this yesterday. When you come now to the memorial, a lot of people will leave something here. If you're a first responder, a lot of guys will leave challenge, and women will leave challenge coins or business cards or something along those lines, patches. Those I was told are kept, but if it's like a sign or something else that's not of
personal,
they actually it gets burned. So every I think it was they said like 10 days or something like that, they'll walk through the memorial, they'll collect everything that was left here, and then it's technically considered discarded property, and it gets burned and then discarded because they were telling us, the Park Service, that it's so much. Where are they going to put it all?
Right.
They can't. So they have no other choice but to.
And then they're going to catalog it too. I mean,
right. Yeah.
It's very difficult.
It's just too much stuff.
The logistics of that is great.
I'm sure you've been to Police Memorial. Have you been down during the week?
We go every week.
Yeah.
We go every year.
Yeah. I lost 2 in 3 years. I used to go every year too. And my brother-in-law was killed in line of duty as well.
I'm sorry to hear that.
All the stuff that people would leave behind.
Yeah.
And I guess that probably gets tossed too, but that's
I know for a fact that the Police Memorial does collect, and they change out every year. When you go into the actual museum itself down below, there's an exhibit of things that are left every year, and I know they do change out, and they'll bring things from the year prior and things like that. But again, it's still a significant amount. I'm assuming the same thing happens where most of it is probably discarded in some way, shape, or form.
Otherwise, there'd be just an unbelievable warehouse tied up. And then for how long?
Right.
I can understand.
Exactly.
It's sad, but you understand the logistics of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, I don't know for a fact, but I think even the Vietnam Memorial has stopped cataloging everything. It's just too much.
Yeah. But, all right. Well,
thank you
again.
guys.
Yeah, thank you for being here. This is another great episode.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Giving the insight of what it was like being a first responder here, at the Flight 93 crash site. So truly, truly appreciate it. And I'm sure our viewers really appreciate you taking the time to come out and speak with us. So thank you again for coming.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
And again, this is one of many of our 9/11 series shows that we'll be doing throughout the month. You could go back and look at a bunch of other shows that we've done over the past few years and many more to come. So make sure to give us a like, follow, and a share, and help us tell the stories that typically go unheard. And we appreciate you listening and supporting us, and we'll see you guys soon.